Imagine you're hiking on a quiet afternoon. Birds are singing, the river hums softly beside you, and a gentle breeze carries the smell of wet stone. You round a corner and see a sharp bend in the river. Nothing special at first glance. But then, something in the gravel catches the light. Stop. Don't take another step. Because right here, where the river curves and slows, the earth may be holding a secret it has hidden for millions of years. These bends are not just pretty spots for a picnic. They are nature's secret vaults, silent collectors of treasures carried from mountains far upstream. Gold flakes, ancient gemstones, even traces of rare metals that tell the planet's oldest stories. Today, I'll take you deep into the science and mystery of river bends. You'll learn how water flow turns an ordinary curve into a natural trap, how to read the signs of heavy minerals, and how to spot the subtle glimmers most people miss. By the end of this journey, you'll never look at a river the same way again. So tighten those boots, open your senses, and get ready. Because the next bend you meet could change what you think you know about the ground beneath your feet. Rivers never travel in straight lines for long. Gravity pulls water downhill, but the land pushes back with obstacles. Bedrock, fallen trees, tiny shifts in soil. Over time, water swirls and erodes the bank, carving graceful curves. These curves, the inside edge slows while the outside edge races like a whip. Imagine a racetrack. The inside lane is calm, the outside lane is a blur. Heavy particles, gold dust, garnet, zircon, can't keep up with the fast lane. They sink into the quiet inside curve, forming natural deposits that can last for centuries. Ancient miners didn't know fluid dynamics, but they knew the pattern. From the Yukon to the Amazon, indigenous peoples and early prospectors learned that river bends gather wealth. Modern geologists confirm it. Inside bends create low-pressure zones where gravity gently pulls the densest particles to rest. The beauty? These deposits renew themselves every season. Heavy spring floods strip upstream layers and carry fresh minerals downstream. Every bend is a living treasure chest, resetting with each storm. When you approach a bend in the river, don't just bend down to pick up a rock. Stop and take in the whole scene. It's that first moment that will determine whether you see the secret that most people miss. Signs of natural treasures are often hidden in seemingly trivial details. Keep an eye out for long, thin lines of black sand on the gray gravel. These are not ordinary sand, but a mixture of magnetite, hematite, or ilmenite, minerals many times heavier than yellow sand and often found in conjunction with gold, garnet, or zircon. With just a small pocket magnet, you can detect them clinging tightly, as if the river itself were sending a signal to the patient. Keep watching, and you may catch flashes of light as the sun tilts, not the glittering reflection of brittle mica, but the hard, pure gleam of a quartz or garnet hidden among the pebbles. Look closely at the gravel surface, where there is a mix of rounded pebbles worn by the flow and sharp, freshly cut pieces. There is evidence that the water has slowed down long enough for heavy mineral grains to settle, trapping both the gem and the newly broken pieces. After a heavy rain, freshly cut sandbanks often reveal layers of sediment that have never been exposed to sunlight. And that is when you have the chance to be the first to touch a stone that has lain dormant for millions of years. Even gaps where plants have trouble taking root can reveal secrets, because soil rich in heavy minerals is often hostile to vegetation, but generous to hunters. All these signals combine to form a language of the river, a map not drawn on paper but etched directly into the surface of the soil and rock, requiring the observer to patiently read each line. You don't need to carry a backpack of equipment, just a small magnet, a hand lens to illuminate each ray of light, and most importantly, eyes that know how to stop and take note of the differences. The impatient will see it as just an ordinary riverbank, but the observant will feel the breath of minerals, hear the silent call of precious stones that are carried by the current and kept here. When you know how to listen to that language, each bend will appear no longer as a quiet landscape but as a song of time, where each grain of sand, each ray of light, Each piece of gravel can be a message from the earth, that beneath that layer of mud and sand, there could be a stone that has been waiting for thousands of years to be found. If the signs at the left have made you slow down and bend down, the next moment is when your imagination and observational eye are put to the test. Beneath the wet sand and rolling pebbles may lie a whole array of precious stones carefully crafted by the earth over millions of years. Among the myriad of seemingly ordinary stones, quartz, the most durable and common, may be waiting for you to touch. Don't expect the perfect sparkle of a crystal in a jewelry store. Many quartz pieces start out as opaque, gray or black blocks. But in the gentle, slanting afternoon light, you'll see a whisper of purple, hinting at the presence of amethyst or a smoky streak of smoky quartz. Interspersed among the heavy pebbles are garnets, wine red or dark brown stones, small but surprisingly dense. Pick up 2 stones of the same size, and you will be surprised to feel the weight of a real garnet in the palm of your hand. In a lucky river bend, you can find zircons, ancient crystals older than many mountain ranges. Sometimes they sparkle like miniature diamonds, reflecting light with magical blue and orange sparks. Spinel is also a talented hider, with bright pink, mysterious purple, or deep black, once mistaken for ruby in many royal crowns. And if the morning sun touches a topaz, you will see a honey yellow or transparent, like a dewdrop, a beauty enough to make people forget the time. Not to be missed is tourmaline, the stone of the rainbow, where green, blue, pink, and sometimes a combination of many colors converge in a single crystal. All these stones have one thing in common. They never appear in perfect appearance. Many are encased in a thin layer of mud, scratched or covered in a dull shell, waiting for your hand to wash them under the stream to reveal their inner brilliance. It is this humility that makes the hunt so appealing, because the greatest joy lies not in the possession, but in the moment when you realize that in your hand you have a piece of the earth hundreds of millions of years old. Imagine the moment you pick up a seemingly worthless stone, rinse it under cool water, and suddenly see a ray of turquoise reflecting off it. It is not just a gem, but a piece of the planet's memory, from distant mountains, brought here by river and waiting for you, perhaps since before the appearance of humans. Once you have carefully observed and picked up a few suspicious stones, the decisive moment is when you have to distinguish between real treasures and the tricks of the river. You do not need expensive equipment or sophisticated machines. Your hands, a keen eye, and a few simple tricks will suffice. Start with the most basic feeling. Wait. Hold 2 stones of similar line, and you will quickly notice which one is denser, as if it contained the weight of millions of years of crystallization. Garnets or zircons are often much heavier than ordinary pebbles, and just a moment of comparison can reveal the difference. Next, experiment with light. That is the test that nature has prepared for you. Hold the stone up to the sun or even the light of a flashlight. Carefully observe the natural edges and planes. No matter how muddy or dull the surface, if there is a slight gap for light to enter, you may see a faint glimmer, a sign of quartz, topaz, or tourmaline. Don't forget to run your finger along the edges of the stone. While most stream pebbles are polished, genuine gemstones retain sharp edges or distinctive crystal forms, a hint that they are more durable, resisting the flow of water for thousands of years. If you have a small magnet with you, gently run it through the surrounding black sand. Magnetite or ilmenite grains will cling, confirming the presence of heavy minerals and increasing the likelihood that you are standing in an area rich in precious sediments. All this can be done in just a few minutes, but the most important thing is patience. The river can test you with hours of fruitless searching, only to suddenly reward you with one last glimmer of light in the last handful of sand. It's not a game of chance, but a reward for looking closer, touching longer, and asking more questions. When you feel that thrill, when your heart races because of a tiny, sparkling stone in the palm of your hand, you'll understand why people have been unable to resist bending down to search this quiet stretch of river for centuries. Thousands of years ago, people knew that winding rivers were places where the earth and sky hid secrets. Without maps or machines, tribes along the Nile, The Yellow River or the Andes relied only on their eyes, hands, and patience to find the crimson stones after each flood. They had never heard of garnet or zircon, but they understood that where the water slowed down, precious minerals would settle and wait. Today, we have science to explain the laws of flow, density, and sediment, but the feeling of hunting has not changed. Modern collectors, from Alaska to Australia, still wait patiently after the flood season, listening to the sound of water and with a keen eye to pick up each quartz, garnet, or topaz. The moment they find a small stone is enough to make them feel like they have touched the story of the earth millions of years ago. Imagine yourself bending over a quiet river, the sunset sprinkling gold on the water. A ray of light flashes in the wet sand. You pick up the gray pebble, wash it under the stream, and the purple hue of amethyst appears. It is not just a stone, but a piece of the planet's memory, a message from the distant past. So next time you are walking by a river and see a bend, stop. Look at the black sands, the unusually heavy pebbles. Listen to the whispering water. The real treasure is not just the gems, but also the moments when you slow down and connect with nature, so that each pebble, each ray of light becomes a message that the earth has sent for millions of years. Let your curiosity guide you, because the moment you bend down and pick up a seemingly ordinary stone can be the moment you touch the history of the planet. If you love adventures like this and want to continue exploring other mysteries of nature, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next journey. Each of your subscriptions is a great motivation to help us continue to take you to the rivers, mountains, and amazing lands where the earth hides countless stories. Come join us so you don't miss any magical moments of discovery.